Hello, everybody. Welcome to another shot at home with Vanessa this time. Vanessa is originally from Germany, but now she's, I would say, firmly based in Switzerland, in Zurich. And right now she's working out from a very accomplished bar, Bar am Wasser. And yeah, I mean, thanks, Vanessa, for joining us today. So obviously, as it always is, we kind of like to talk about not just how we are all impacted by the coronavirus, but what kind of like now is the bar scene usually and how it changed, like, specifically due to this like situation. And then obviously, like, the person, so that would be Vanessa today. So Vanessa, to start it all off, you basically are pretty close to my home. I mean, I'm originally from Hanover. You are from Hanover as well. Kind of like, or you started your bartending career in Hanover. So I definitely know you and follow you for a long, long time. And there's always, for me, a big question. Why is the jump from Germany to Switzerland?
Because I wanted to have a new or seeing it something new, and I want to I moved to the country because I was in the winter season in St. Moritz 2 times, and the first time was like, okay, I love this country. It's so amazing, it's so beautiful. There's a lot of natural shit which you can see and everything, and you can relax and you have a better lifestyle at the end. I mean, you get more salary, of course, everyone knows that. And then I made a competition. I made a world class competition. I was in the finals, and that's
Are you
why.
working in Switzerland during the season?
Yes. During the season, and then I made it to the finals, and they said to me, okay, so what are you doing now? You can't do the Swiss finals if you're not working in Switzerland. And then I thought about like one day and 3 weeks later, I moved to Switzerland.
All right, good. So obviously there are no regrets since it's like, now
No,
2.5
no,
years.
I had a really good job offer. So
right.
they're asking me, and I always wanted to be a chef or assistant. And then I had a really good job offer, and I moved to Switzerland.
So if you would have to sum up like the biggest like differences between like, working in Germany, working in Switzerland, is there a difference at all? I mean, they're both like, primarily German-speaking, countries, but difference in terms of like how hospitality is perceived by like, the guests or by like, the people working in the hospitality. Is there a difference or?
Also the guests, right? I mean, the guests, they are like, they have another standard. The standard is higher for them. It's they're super
expect more from you.
Yes, of course, yes, they do, because they love to go out, and they love to get a high quality, and that's what I think. It's my opinion, at the end, in Germany, it's like you have also a lot of guests which have seen high qualities, but it's hard to say.
I mean, I totally
it's hard to say.
Like, I'm totally on board with what you're saying, because like, my experience, like, going to Switzerland is always this kind of like, this kind of like, the expectation for the price you pay, like, for the value of service and goods you're getting. It's kind of like, a totally different standard. But the people really do enjoy to go out. They do enjoy eating, like, it's just
and they spend a lot of money to go out and drinks and whatever. And they're going out like every night. I mean, we opened now, I think 3 weeks or 2 weeks ago, and the bar was totally full. The guests standing in a line in front of the bar and waiting like for 30 minutes for a table or any sitting which we had. It
I mean,
was crazy, yeah.
I would see like, right now, this statement probably makes many people like, jealous. Just here in Germany, like, it's always depending on like, obviously which country you're in. Like,
Yeah,
but in Germany, like, I mean, some bars, like, were not allowed to because there were only restaurants allowed to, and
yeah,
restaurants were allowed to open, and all these kind of like, mixed up, and like, and then now finally they could open, like, in most places, and it was like, everyone was preparing for like this big rush,
yeah,
and it didn't go up. So it was just like, kind of like a total anticlimax, right? Everyone
yeah,
was kind of like, if you would follow like, things on the social networks, like, it would be like, yeah, support your local bar. And so it seemed like everyone was just longing for this day when it will
mm-hmm.
open up. And it's just like when it happened, I mean, they could carry on with like, as a bottle service, kind of like, selling things like, just like, for home consumption, because it was like, not really that many people like trying to being exposed to whatever kind of like dangers that might like, lurk around, like,
So
with the
yeah, and
coronavirus.
I think the people in Germany are more scared than the Swiss people,
It
maybe.
seems like, I mean, it seems like
And the Swiss people don't give a fuck, like
everyone,
whatever.
like,
What is Corona? We want drinks.
so that's like, I mean, that's gorgeous. But coming back to the question, I mean, I'm totally on board with what you're saying, that people do have like, a different like, quality perception and expectation as well.
Yeah,
Like, you definitely have to deliver. They kind of like, they're willing to pay, but it's kind of like, and they're very knowledgeable. And it's kind of like, for them, it's like, sometimes, I mean, starting in a restaurant, like when people do look on a wine menu, in Germany, it always
mm-hmm.
feels like how pretentious. And in Switzerland, it's like how knowledgeable, right? And
Yeah,
people, they do know what they're looking at, right?
yes.
And so I'm totally like, on board with that. And another kind of like, similar to the question, but a more specific one. I mean, obviously, you started like, now 12 years ago working in a bar, or?
I started 10 years ago working in a bar, and 9 years ago, I was studying as a bartender.
Yeah.
Yes. I was studying at Domero Hotels, the first bar in Hanover, the first hotel, like a big bar with some after-hour parties and everything, after-work parties. At Thomas Immenroth, he was my boss. And really wanted to go behind the bar. The thing is, I wasn't the service there, and I've never had an experience or educations before in bartending. And then I wanted to go to, I mean, behind the bar, and he sent me to Thomas Fischer, to the Oscars bar, which is one of the oldest bars in North Germany.
I mean, it's definitely like, I would say renowned, even like, obviously like, Hanover, beyond the borders of Hanover, because kind of very, I mean, for like, it was one of the first bars, like, with a really nice back bar concerning like everything whiskey, like, just
Yeah.
so detailed, like, so many, like, old fillings, like, everything was just beautiful. Very nice.
Yeah, and there was 4 or 5 years, and I learned a lot. About whiskey, of course, in every spirit. And yeah, I was also really lucky because I could try anything. Like, if you wanted to try this, okay, try it. Whatever it costs, try it. And I said, okay. So I tried a lot of spirits last year.
That was the best education you can get, like, liquid on lips. That's like, the best education you can get. How was it for you as a, like, as a female bartender when you started off? Is it like, do you think it's like an advantage, or is it a kind of like an impediment?
It's a hard question, because when I was started as a bartender, it was 9 years ago, and there were the first bartenders after Mother Maya, as female bartenders. They started in this time, or a few years after me. It was at the beginning, it was a little bit hard, but I think I was working in a bar. They had the whole years, or the whole 20 or 30 years, just male bartenders. And you had a lot of guests, like, wie nennt man Stammgäste? A lot of guests, they look at you, they were super old, and they drink for like 30 years the same drink every day. And then they look behind the bar and they see a female bartender, and it was hard. It was really hard. They look at me and they say, come on, you can do nothing.
But I guess like the way you describe this kind of particular regular, like, patron, like, who comes in, like, 5 days a week, right? They're always, like, they always own part of the bar and their own imagination, right? It's like the most difficult crowd to serve, like, for everyone.
Yeah, I think if you started in a new bar or something like that, the people are like, oh cool, she's a female bartender. But if you start in a bar where they had for 20 or 30 years the same bartenders, also not only like male bartenders, the same bartenders, and there comes a little half German Thai girl, and in a evening dress, with the lipstick, and I say, come on, what's going on here? But after then I started behind the bar, and we had a lot of drinks on the menu, like over 250 drinks, just classic drinks, every fucking classic drink. And I was like, fuck. And I'm not the person which is sitting like at home and learning every day. I'm the person who's learning by doing. And then I started to work the first day, and my boss Thomas, he said to me, have you learned all the recipes? It's like, and I'm like, yes, of course I did. I did nothing. Honestly, I did nothing. The only drink which I could do was a caipirinha and a mojito. And then he said, okay, that's your luck, you learn a lot, so please go behind the bar. And I was like, okay, shit. So I didn't say nothing. I go behind the bar, and I had a menu. I hide it under the fridge.
So, but it's really difficult, like, with 250 drinks, just like looking it up, going like,
Yes, every time. But I was really good in it.
So you got quick.
I look at the menu before. I didn't learn the recipes, but I look at the menu before, and I really noticed where was this drink. So I know which side was.
You had to look for. Like, at least you have the groups. Like, you hear an order and you go like, all right, got to be like, this kind of chapter going like this.
And then the first drink was a Mai Tai. The thing is, there was a guest, my first guest. He had a special Mai Tai, his own recipe, but I didn't know that, and my boss also didn't tell me. I think you want to prove to me. And and then I made a Mai Tai. I made it 3 times totally wrong. And the 4th time, he came to me and he said, you are the baddest, worst bartender I've ever seen in my life, and I will never come back.
Thanks for the support. Yes.
And then my boss looked at me and looked at him and said, so you want that I kick her today? And he said, yes, I will kick. I want that you will kick her. Otherwise, I never come back. And then he said to the guest, I will never kick her. I see a lot of passion in her. So please, there's the door, leave.
Boom. That's Thomas.
A really cool boss. Yes, yes.
Absolutely.
He's one of the best
Very
bosses I've ever heard. Yes.
Very old school.
Yeah, and 2 weeks later, the same guests came back and he asked for me. And after that, the guests, after 2 weeks, I could mix every drink in the menu. So it was really learning by doing. And I standing like every day behind the bar and try to do these cocktails with my menu under the fridge. But I did it after 2 weeks. I could make every 250 drinks, so it was cool.
I mean,
yeah,
like, yeah, people.
I'm smart, you know.
Yeah, no, I totally get it. I mean, for me, I just like realized that kind of like, people don't know the Oscars bar probably, but I mean, since I know the place, they do a very kind of like it is a very old-fashioned, which becomes stylish right now again, kind of like setup.
Yeah.
And it's like a very it's kind of an old-fashioned and kind of like very taken back kind of like style in terms of like service and preparation. It's like the bartender is never like the focus of attention. It's never like the main focus behind the bar. It's always like the spirits and the drinks. They are like the main focus, and the guests, like that's kind of like an old-fashioned thing. And so I guess like the transition like from this kind of service now to Switzerland probably wasn't that big. So it's still almost like a big change, right?
Yeah, not really. I mean, I really like to work in this classy bars and having this like hotel leading standards.
Yeah.
And I was working also in the Kempinski hotels and everything. And it, for a lot of bartenders, it's super boring, but for me, it's super interesting. And I really like the guests. I really like that kind of guests. And I mean, you have every day really international guests, and the standards are really high, and you can prove yourself every day. And that's really interesting. So you never stop learning.
That's cool. If it would like right now, obviously it's like a bar on its own, the bar ambassador. But if it would describe like the people, the guests going there, are they more international, or is it just like like
they are in Zurich? The people are super international. Like also the people who are living in Zurich, they are super international. Not only the travelers and everything. Okay, at the moment it's we don't have so many
big companies, which are like international headquarters.
Sorry, I didn't hear.
I mean, there are obviously many big companies having their headquarters in Zurich. So
yes, of course, yes, a lot of banks and everything, and lawyers, and we have a lot of companies also around the bar, around this area, because we are in the middle of the center. And but it's really cool. It's really cool. We have also a lot of German guests and a lot of American English guests and Asian guests, and it's super interesting because you have it's so funny. You see the difference also between the countries, like the Americans, how they drink more high volume. Like if they order margarita, it's like, okay, can you make me a double shot margarita? Like, okay, you are from America. Yes.
I mean, obviously, like with usually having like recipes and ounces, it's always like, make me a double off. And we always feel like, a double off that will be like 8 CL, like, a double gin and tonic doesn't work, right? But for like, them, when they usually get like, things in ounces and they go for double gin and tonic, then it's just like, it makes sense. 6 CL, that's a good gin and tonic, right? But,
yes, it is. It's the perfect gin and tonic for me.
but usually when we would go like, having, our proper gin and tonic usually is already like, 4 CL in a service, right?
Yeah.
That would be kind of like that. That would be quite a challenge already. Like 8 CL gin and tonics, that's tough. Gotta be like a hardcore drink.
Gin and tonic. I always put 6 to 8.
Right.
Yeah.
If you would choose like, are you either like, more a Negroni type of drinker or a Manhattan type of drinker? More whiskey or gin? What are you going for?
I didn't see you. Do you hear me?
You go for a Negroni?
Do you hear me? I didn't see you.
Oh, you didn't hear me. All right, good.
No. Okay, you're back.
No, perfectly.
Oof.
So are you more like, a Negroni type of drinker or a Manhattan type of drinker?
Hard to say.
I mean, apart from obviously depends on situation and those things, but what are you?
Are you asking me for Negroni and Manhattan?
You would go for both. All right, good. That is an attitude, I would say. That's an attitude.
It's not like I don't know if I'm looking like a Negroni or Manhattan drinker, but I really never drink a Manhattan.
Why not? It's a perfect drink. I love Manhattan.
No, because I don't like the combination with the spirits. It's like 5.
I just wonder, like, now what kind of recipe I would come up for, like, to convince you that a Manhattan is a beautiful drink. Like, for me, a Manhattan is like, well, it's a nice drink, yeah. I mean, I do like Negronis as well, obviously, but
yeah. If I had I mean, if someone asked me and I had only Negronis or Manhattans, I would say Negronis. I would say Negronis.
Good.
But I of course prefer the Negroni with the Jägermeister.
A Count Mustard. Oh
my God.
Yes, very good, very good.
No, honestly, I prefer it. Honestly, with Jägermeister. It's not the kind of we are from Jägermeister. It's yeah, I love it more with Jägermeister.
Yeah, I mean, for me, obviously, like, it is kind of like, more herbaceous and definitely less bitter. It's more like, open, kind of like,
yeah.
It's a less attacking form of like, an aperitif drink. Definitely is kind of like, very nice.
Yeah.
So I have to
gin for me is like, I drink gin only pure or in a dirty martini. So,
all right, good. So what's your perfect recipe for a dirty martini?
Ooh, like super dirty or normal dirty martini?
Yeah, just like your, where you would say like, that's the way I like to drink my dirty martini. Like your preferred way. You can call it brand.
I can call it brand. Okay.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, it's hard. I really like in gin. I really like the Bobby's gin, but it's not so good for a dirty martini. For a dirty martini, I prefer a Mediterranean gin, like gin Mauer.
Yeah.
Everyone has it, and I think it's a really good combination for a dirty martini. If you have a vodka dirty martini, I would prefer the Subrovka. This grassy taste, it's really nice for a dirty martini, I think. And yeah, and then it's like 60 mils of gin or vodka and a little bit, a bar spoon of dry vermouth, like Noli Prat. I really like to add a little bit of salt solution, like 2 drops.
Yeah.
And of course the olive water. Yeah, like 10 mils or 15 mils.
Cool. Yeah.
But I never model an olive. That's really, I don't know. I don't like it. If someone wants it super dirty, I model just a little bit, but not too much. Otherwise, you didn't have the taste from the gin anymore, and it's tastes only like. And you can drink also an olive glass water with a splash of gin.
But yeah, it's okay. I mean, for me, I don't know who my tools is like, is my variation of like, with Jägermeister of a dirty martini. Definitely is, for me, a dirty martini is a beautiful drink, right? And the variation I had to come up with, because I had a group of like journalists, like, ladies, all ladies, coming over from the States, and they were like, we were at the Croque Bleu at that time. Like, obviously it's closed right now for now 2 years since due to renovation. Like, so it's not open anymore. But I mean, it's a beautiful, like, yard. You had to go over there, like, cobblestone yard, and you go to this old brewery, and inside then you had the Croque Bleu, a beautiful place, right? Really like fantastic decoration, everything. And so inside, like, we do have this session, and these ladies were just like, always on their phone, and like, not really like,
super busy.
Yeah, kind of like, and it was really tough to get my own work interested. And then I was going like, I could just like, what do you usually drink? Just like, give me like, something to work with, right? They go like, skinny bitch, like, vodka soda, right? So I said, it's got to be more challenging than a skinny bitch, right? Like, I mean, obviously I'm here to promote Jägermeister and the taste and flavor profile of Jägermeister. It's not definitely like, something I can recreate, skinny bitch. But then they came out with like, yeah, I do love dirty martinis, right? And I said, all right, I have the best recipe for you ever. So then was like 5 cl, just like straight London dry gin, Tanqueray, and 2 cl, 2 to 3 cl, Nolly Prat. I probably did take Dolan White, like Dolan Dry, right? With a splash of Dolan White, so kind of like a bit more sweeter.
Oh,
so
that's
then,
cool. I really like to combine the vermouth.
Yeah. So
the different vermouth.
One thing, and then I had like 2 bar spoonful of Jägermeister and 2 bar spoonful of olive brine, and I stirred it with an expressed lemon peel, right?
Yeah.
So I stirred that, and then I strained it into the glass, and I gave like another squeeze of lemon on top. So that was it. And that was beautiful. It was really spot on, with lots of depth, and you had a far more, a bigger vibrancy to it, and not just like nuttiness and like freshness or whatever. And like,
can you please stop talking about? I really want to have a dirty martini now.
That was so. So what we can do right now is kind of like, now we can,
just
like jump in and have,
do
a
shot.
Just gonna get a glass. Give me a second. So I got a glass.
I have the same glass. Wait, I have the same glass.
So, and then we're just gonna have a shot.
I don't have it here, but it's okay. Okay.
Cheers.
Cheers.
We're getting well into.
Which one did you have? You have the normal?
That's
you
just
have the manifest?
Yeah.
I have this one.
Cool. You go for sharp. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, I love it.
I
so
like
tasty.
It sharp. It's like now when it gets a bit warmer, you always get like, this kind of more floral expression.
Yeah, it is super warm. I feel it.
But it's what it really has. It's like, you got this a different citrusy note, which is kind of like now more like lime. It's really like, fresher. It's really, for me, sharp, just like, on a couple of ice cubes and just a splash of soda on top. Best drink. It's so easy.
It is. It
really
is.
like opening up everything. It's beautiful. Definitely is very nice. So,
And a lemon zest. Super.
so coming back, like, obviously to like, these quarantine, like, ended obviously in Switzerland, but how did you spend the time in between? I mean, I've seen the bar was like, did some videos as well, like,
Yeah.
entertain their, like, customers and guests, and probably you did some cleaning there as well.
Yes, we did. We did a lot of cleaning stuff.
To keep you
Yeah.
busy.
I mean, at the end, if you don't have any work, you can find a lot of work. Um, yeah, the first weeks or the first days, I was sleeping. I was sleeping for 16 hours a day. It was amazing. I love it. I love to sleep. So yeah, I was sleeping the first 1 or 2 weeks, like every day for 12 or 16 hours, and then
That sounds like quality time. Let's be honest. Like,
yeah, and I do some healthy stuff. Yeah, didn't eat for 1 week and drink only tea and juices. Um, yeah, after that I was super hungry, and the problem was the next day I wanted to eat again, and yeah, I eat again, and I started with a pizza and a bottle of wine.
it sounds like hibernation. It's like now you sleep more eating. Like that's
So
hibernation.
first 1 week of detox, and then totally damaged, and then I drink like I think every day. But yeah, it is how it is, you know. It was super tasty, and I love good food and drinks.
All
Yeah,
right.
and then we started to work again, and had a lot of educations, and talking about the spirit, and
So
um,
the education thing inside, like, just like, for people like, working in the bar, or was it like, the Zurich bar community, like, doing educational stuff all
no,
around?
no, just our bar team.
All right.
Yeah, we had some educations about spirits, and yeah, and everything what you have to learn as a bartender. And I mean, at the end, we had educations about whiskey, we had educations about cognac, champagne, and everything. And of course, you sell it every day, some stuff, but some stuff like liquors or cognacs, you or champagne. I mean, you didn't sell every day everything. And there are a lot of moments where you stand in front of the guests and think about, fuck, how did they produce it? Or you forget it. And that's why we do every month now educations about everything to refresh it in your brain. And yeah, and that's super cool.
Oh, I mean, I like the kind of like, the idea, because obviously, I mean, that's like, in bar or restaurants, it's like everywhere the same, and all the world over, it's like
Yeah.
usually are always working in this kind of time frame thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Be like, kind of quick. You're gonna be quick. So obviously, when you're not doing it like, on a constant basis, it's like the knowledge goes to the background, and then like,
Yeah.
suddenly it's asked for, and you still have this kind of, you got to deliver in this time
Yeah.
frame. So you become kind of like superfluous, and like the in-depth knowledge is kind of like lost along the way, right? And
Yeah. Yeah.
I really like the idea of like, taking time to kind of like, put an emphasis on education.
I mean, at the end, you really have the time, and why you have to spend the time with some bullshit? I mean, you can spend the time with important stuff like this. And we had also educations about service and standards, which we want to show the guests, like high 5 stars leading hotel standards. And yeah, that's what we've done. So it's super, and the guests are super happy. Yeah, yesterday I had a guest. He was like, oh, it's super nice to see in bar who have this high standards like in hotel. I mean, we are not like super.
No, you're not stuffed. You're not
What's the
just
word? What's the word in English? I don't know. Spießig.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, kind of like now. I mean, I guess stuff here would be like, this kind of like, where you have this feelings that you know, someone is expecting you to behave in a, particular way.
Yeah, it's not a boring, it's not boring with us. It's like we are still cool, but we
Yeah,
have our standards.
no,
And
no, it's like,
that's what
it's
I
kind
really
of,
like. Yeah.
I mean, I do like this kind of like that people even perceive that you do have this kind of like, excellence in
Yeah.
terms of how you execute things, but you're not losing your personality.
Yes, of course. And you don't have to. I mean, even if you're working in a 5 or 6 star hotel, you don't have to lose it, because it's the guests will like it, and the guests, um, they remember, and they realized in that moment that you're not yourself. And that's the I think it's a really big fail which a lot of people are doing, to don't be themselves and try to be like this, and hello, 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 yeah, yeah, and
Yeah, I
yeah,
love, yes,
and
for
the
sure.
people hate it.
Certainly, yeah, we do this. Yes, yes. Yeah, I totally get it. I mean, for me, it's all, I mean, I do like what you're just describing. Obviously, is kind of like, it's like, it's an excellence in service is definitely like, it can't happen without you being fully behind it, and that means like, it's like it's not distorting your personality. You're still there as a person, right?
Yeah,
Because that's like really necessary to gives us kind of that it feels naturally, like,
yeah,
not like, kind of forced, like,
yeah,
that's just like,
yeah. And I mean, sometimes the people are came in not in a suit, not in a evening dress, just like totally regular and normal, and they wanted this high standard, but they don't want to feel bad. You know what I mean? It's
totally.
like if you came into a bar and they're like super boring and everyone is
I mean,
quiet,
exactly.
like
I'm the
in a
one.
library. It's what I'm doing here. Yeah, you're feeling
Yeah.
stupid if you don't wear a nice dress or a nice suit or anything.
No, no, but I mean, I guess like, this, I, I guess like, that we probably like, in the, like, in this, like, like in Germany or like, in Switzerland, we kind of like, have this kind of freedom to appreciate this kind of luxury that we can like,
Yeah,
dress the way we want and still can be appreciative, like, for, top notch, like, 5-star service in a way, right?
yeah,
This kind
yeah,
of like, excellence where people just usually talk about, and then they don't feel like, they can't embody it, right? And that's like
yeah,
the thing. I do like this kind of what that you kind of pronounce it that way, like, it's not just about how you execute it in terms of like, technically, but find it in terms of like, your personality, but not being forced into like, just like conformity, like, just one way
yeah,
of
yeah, yeah.
perfection.
Yeah, and
So
it's I mean, at the end, it's really hard, because you spend a lot of energy and work, and if you change yourself, like as an actor, it's yeah, it's super. I don't know. I think it's not good for yourself.
no, I guess it's always like, it definitely depends on your personality, obviously. Like, some people are, for me, that, I mean, it's kind of like, admirable as well, like, because they kind of like, have this, yeah, we're doing day drinking, so we got to keep, that's a good thing, like,
It's always starting like this, but I have to work today. But yeah,
and
it's
so
okay. I can
we,
work also
we're not here just like, for
with a few shots
we're
before.
here for something else, like, we're here for drinking. So cheers to you, Vanessa.
Cheers.
Hmm.
Mm, that was a big
That
sip.
works lovely. So, but the, like, some people are like, they do wear this kind of act like an armor, like, like kind of like a knight got an armor, like, to shield himself, like, against these things from the outside. So they kind of, you know, just putting on an act, and they just like have this kind of personality in service.
Yeah.
For me, that never feels like, you know, welcoming or natural, like, you know, in the way, like, you know, I mean, when I was like, you know, at the bar, so like, you know, obviously I was there with you, like, in the kind of like, there's always a better or easier entrance, but it definitely felt like, you know, very welcoming and very naturally the way, you know, one was welcomed.
And you asked me at the beginning about what's the difference between working in Switzerland and working in Germany.
Yeah.
And now I got it. It was super hard because, I mean, the people from the north of Germany, and I'm from the north of Germany. I was born and raised in Bremen. And
that's true.
And and we are a little bit more colder than the south, like Munich people,
I know
or
what you're getting at.
you know what I mean?
I wouldn't
We are
say
really, it's
cold, because
Nordish.
obviously I'm like, you know, a Nordlicht as well. Like, you know, this is kind of, I wouldn't say cold, like, you know, we are not like, you know, this.
But we have a distance between,
Yes.
we have a, like,
You
you
have
didn't say, you don't hug everybody. It's like, oh yeah, hi, you
Yeah,
know?
that would be enough. That would be enough. Saying hi,
Yeah.
that would be enough. Like, you know, and that could constitute a whole
And
conversation.
please don't touch me, like.
Yeah. You know, so what do you want from me? Like, you know, I just said hi. That was it. That was the extent of the whole conversation. Hi. So, what happened in your week? Yeah, a lot. Oh.
Yeah,
Cool.
that's it. And we don't have to talk about my whole life now. I mean, yeah. How are you? Okay, good. How was the day? Okay, good. Okay, then please see you next week. Bye.
That would be it. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, and in the thing is, in Switzerland, it was really hard. I got my first. It was, yeah. I have to go to the boss one time. It wasn't at Bar, was it? It was before. If it was in the winter season, I had to go to the bus because I picked up the phone. Someone called, I guess called, and I talked like normal, like we talk to each other, you know. And I wasn't unfriendly. If I am unfriendly, you will definitely realize it. And yeah, and then yeah. And the boss said, okay, if that happened one more time, you have to leave. And I'm like, what? Yeah, because you was really unfriendly, and the guest called me again and sent me a message. It was a regular guest. Really rich and everything. And I was like, I wasn't unfriendly. What's the point? And then I realized, and someone tell me, other German one, and he was really long in Switzerland, and he said the thing is, you have to speak on the phone, like you keep smiling the whole time, and then you have to talk like this.
Yes. I totally get it.
And if you don't do it like this, you're a super unfriendly, your German mother peep.
Yeah, but I mean, it's probably like, you know, I just wondered about it. How are you doing, like, you know, your greeting thing? Like, you know, I'm always kind of like, you know, going like, you know, once, twice, going like with the kisses.
3 times.
And then it's like, you know, not touching, just going like mouthing, going like, not mouthing, just like, and then a third time, how do you do this? Like, you know, this kind of thing. But obviously, it's like, you know, it's not like, you know, that you know this person, like, you know, intimately, or like, you know, kind of like, you know, that you like, you know, it could be like the first time acquaintance, but someone who's like, you know, good friends with someone, to just going like to every one of these friends, go like, no, yeah, hello, 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 hello. And it's just smiling and smiling and smiling. And
yeah, and you have to smile the whole time. Here, you have to smile the whole time.
Yeah.
But really, at the beginning, it was really. I was super tired. After 1 week. I was like, oh my god, the people are super annoying here. But now I go to, if I went to Germany and met my parents or anybody, and I go through the city and met some other bars, I'm like, how unfriendly are the people here?
All right, good.
Why you can't smile? And the thing is, it changed your whole day. I mean, you go out here, you go into the bus, and all the people in the bus are smiling at you. You go to the supermarket. I mean, if you work in Germany in a supermarket, like, you know, the cheap ones, the people are more unfriendly if they're working in a good supermarket. And here, everybody is friendly, and that's how you're starting your day. So you go out, you have a really bad mood or a bad dream or anything, or bad evening, and then you start your day, you go out, and all the peoples are friendly, and all the peoples are friendly the whole day, and then you are happy as well, and it's like a, you know, you feel much better, or I feel now much better, and I have more energy than in Germany. Yeah, that's
All
the
right,
point.
good. So that's kind of like that's a harsh
It's
note for everyone in Germany right now. Probably like many.
no, it's not. It's not. I
So,
mean, you know what I mean. It's
Vanessa,
like you have to change your.
no, I totally get it. Like, I mean, for me, I know this kind of like, there's a difference, for example, is like, this kind of smiling, that a smile, like, is kind of
Yeah,
always answered with a smile, right? I totally get it. And I know it because, like, when I don't have my dog with me, when I'm walking, like, through the street, like, no one is
yeah,
smiling at me. So the moment I walk with my dog, everyone goes smiling, going like, oh yeah,
yeah,
that's cute, right?
yes,
So me without a dog, I'm not cute, right? So, and
yeah,
everyone goes like, just like trying to avoid me, going like, even when I smile, they go like, what a creepy
yeah,
person, like,
yeah,
it's just like totally like, unnecessary. The moment I got my dog with me, everyone is smiling. Everyone is kind of like, more friendly and happy, right? I
yeah.
totally get it. It's like, it's changing, like, even your own energy. But I got one question. How do you do this greeting thing in times of Corona in Switzerland? Are you still going like this? Yeah, hello, 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 and kissing,
No,
or
we don't. No, no.
you don't?
They are really strict, and no, no, we don't do that. We're
All
like,
right. So there's
Corona,
no
hi.
rules. Oh, I get it. Cool.
And we
Perfect.
smile. We smile like,
But
yeah,
you're still
we have.
smiling. That's nice. Um, Coming back to like obviously like you did spend like at the bar and also like you spend lots of time educating, and I know that you have a very elaborate and beautiful menu. Did you change
Yeah.
your menu like during the time as well, or did you keep the old menu?
We still keep the old menu, but we worked on a new menu, and maybe we will start in around about 1 month with that.
All right,
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Great.
So we had a lot of time to work, and yeah. So we spent every minute which we spent in the bar, or I mean in our free time, in the bar and in the new menu and in education. So we never stopped doing anything in this time. Yeah, so yeah, that we had our
So it
day,
was
our
kind of
regular
a
day,
break.
and discipline, and
Yeah.
keep everything by positive vibes. And
So it was a break, but it was not really like being absent of like
no, it was a break, which was really, I think it was really good for the whole team as well,
because the whole
because
team had a break, not just like some.
yes, the whole team had a break, and but in this break we doing not only like hanging around, we just working on ourselves, and ourselves as a person, ourselves in the team spirit, and our team.
All right. It definitely sounds positive. It sounds like, actually someone should have come up with this kind of Corona thing that like, you have kind of experience, like, yeah, doing like remodeling, like, our personalities and the team as a whole. That's cool.
Yeah,
I mean, for me, like, the nice thing is, like, some people do have the attitude of like, kind of complaining about like, these the whole situation. And I know that, like, obviously, loads of bartenders do have, like, who are in dire straits in terms of, like, having not enough money and everything. Totally get this, but on the other hand, I totally like this kind of, like, now we used the time which was, like, apparently there, right? And we kind of, like, worked on, like, how we, like, want to kind of, like, work, like, in the future. And obviously it seems to be that the Swiss person, like, the guests are coming back, which is definitely not the case here. So, like, in many places, like, bars, restaurants opened up, and they just had,
So
like,
you open, you have seatings there, or you have only like to go
in some bars they
drinks, or
keep on doing only to go, or, like, they do have seatings, but it's, like, the same, like, with 2 meters, like, a difference, and only, like, one household, or, like, with another household, or, like, only 4 people. Like,
it's really funny because I never realized how it goes in Germany. I talked to my family, but they're not going out. I mean, and tomorrow I go to Munich.
All right.
And I want to see how it is. Yes. I celebrate my 30th birthday.
You knew the 30th birthday. Come on, Vanessa.
Yeah. I'm getting older.
I mean, seriously, that's a secret for longer living. It's so easy. We just have
I never thought that I'm getting so old, because of the last 10 years was super hard.
I can assure you.
And I drank a lot.
I know. But I can assure you, like, it's just, like, obviously I just turned, like, a month ago, like, 49, right? So it's kind of,
oh.
it's so easy. It's so easy getting older. And you get used to it. The only thing which gets harder is, like, getting up.
You can be my father.
Yeah, definitely. I could be, yeah. It's kind of, it's like, almost like, I started, I don't know, like, in 1992, I started working as a bartender.
Yeah.
Something like that. So, yeah.
There was two. Sorry.
Pretty long time.
So maybe,
anyway.
yeah.
So we go for the last shot, and then I really have to say, like, thanks, Vanessa. I appreciate, like, you being here for us. I'm kind of jealous, and the way you just described, like, Zurich, I would say, like, I don't want to, like, take away.
I mean, you was here, right? It was amazing. We had a Hubertus Circle Switzerland edition with a CBD education.
And, like, the beautiful thing about Switzerland was the people, like, it is definitely this kind of, like, as you said, like, this kind of expectation in terms of, like, service or things, like, it's kind of, like, really, like, it's there, but since there's, like, an understanding for quality in food and, like, in drinks, it's kind of, like, makes it easier to kind of, like, deliver on this level as well, because it's, like, it's recognized. Really,
I mean, if I was working in Germany, it is a few years ago, and I think now the German standards getting much more higher, of course, and there are a lot of bars who having the standards since years, but it's not so, it's not a regular standard.
Yeah, no, it's always an exemption to the
rule.
Yeah,
in Switzerland, you have this regular standard everywhere. Like, of course, we have also, like, cheapy bars, which you can have only Long Island iced teas, and from bottles, like pre-mixed stuff, which you can buy for 2 francs. I mean, you have it everywhere, but at the end, it's it's more high standard, and the guests, yeah, and the guests having high standards in their brain, and they really wanted to spend the money. I mean, it's also much more expensive here, or the double price than in Germany. Yeah, and they want to have this quality for that. For the money they want to have this quality for sure.
That's a good news to all bar owners. Just like make it expensive and deliver on your promise, right? That's like so easy. Just like boom, I take it. I just like now. I just.
I
Make
mean,
it
how much is the drink in Germany? It's like 10
10,
euros.
12 euros. Yeah, that's probably gonna be it. Yeah. I mean, some of
Okay.
98, right?
Yeah, and we had drinks between 18 and yeah, up to whatever. But the minimum is 18 here, so 18 euros.
All right,
Yeah,
good.
it's hard.
I take it. I go for it. So, Vanessa, it was really a pleasure. And do you have to go to work now?
I have to go to work today. Yeah, but I have 2 hours left, so.
All right, good.
I will pack my bag and organize some stuff and cleaning up. I don't know if I can do this now because I had my fruit Jägermeister. And
better prepared than ever, right? So
did you remember that we drink in Jägermeister not 2 CL shots, we drink 4 or 5 CL shots?
Obviously we do, yeah. But it's not a crime. I can assure you, it's not a crime. It's okay. It's totally okay. It's fine.
Okay. Yeah, because the last time I was in Berlin, the people were really scared about drinking with me because I said the whole time after 10 shots, we have to take a shot, and I poured only like 5 CL.
Yeah. So it was just like, you know,
it
a
was
very
super
subtle
fun.
hint not to mess with you. That's it. So, but I'm very grateful that you did mess with me today. Vanessa, it was my pleasure. I hope you have a lovely day. And
thank
I tell
you.
you, for everyone, once you open up in your country, I hope it's going to be like in Switzerland, that everyone turns out to support all the bars, right? So
Thank you.
thanks for having us. And
thank you for the opportunity to be in the Hubertus Circle since the beginning.
You still been
and,
like,
yeah.
It was still like the Hubertus Rat, and then it turned to the Hubertus Circle.
Yes. It was 211, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
210, 211. Yeah.
Long time.
So thank you for this, and thank you for this opportunity to have this interview. And I hope you guys in Germany are doing it well, and fuck on Corona. I mean, yeah. If I can support you in any way in every bar, I would do that.
You're already going to Munich, like, you know, you can support, like, you know, any bar there, like, you know, just we're happy to have you. But like, you know, I'm happy to go, like, you know, to Switzerland soon, hopefully, to, like, you know, see how it works here. I'm really like enjoying to have you. Thanks, Vanessa.
Thank you. Cheers.
Lovely.